Good afternoon, everybody. Coming to you live down here at Island Owl Mazda. And I just want to share a little bit of real-world feedback on the new MX-30. So as the staff made you guys very well aware, it arrived last week. I think it was October 6th. Carl and I happened to be away at the time, so we didn't get to get in on all the festivities right off the top, or right off the hop when they dropped and arrived. But the staff did a fantastic job going over the vehicle, chatting about some of the features. And because I was away when it arrived, I decided to take it home for the long weekend. So Saturday night, I picked it up, took it home after the lovely Cooks had taken it for a test drive, kidnapped JR, and did a couple live videos on it. So yeah, when I picked it up, it had about 165 kilometers till empty. Now, one of the things that people have been giving it a little bit of negative feedback about is that the MX-30, actually I'm going to turn this around, you don't need to see me. The MX-30 is Mazda's first fully electric vehicle. It is rated for a range of about 200 kilometers, which is on the lower side. But the nice thing with that means that it charges up quite quickly. The ability to use it as a second vehicle or to be having... Oh, Dave, say hi. There you go. So having it as a second vehicle, and what they're billing it as is not an EV for your typical EV obsessed people, but more so an EV that's built and tailored towards people that enjoy driving still. Mazda's really, really big on making sure that their vehicles are fun to drive, that you feel connected to the road. And this thing actually drives very much like the MX-5, which is very well weight distributed. It has a ton of pickup, a ton of power. Sorry you can't see anything right now. But I'm just popping the hood to show you how different it is under the hood. So you've got the electric motor underneath here, coolant system for keeping the batteries nice and cool. All your typical stuff, 12-volt battery, nice and easily accessible. Got your windshield wiper fluid, stuff that's pretty standard for anything you'd need to touch under the hood, and everything else is going to be taken care of by our professionals and master techs here. So what I really found exciting about it is if you look at how much you actually commute on a long term and how much you need for range in your day-to-day driving, 200 kilometers actually covers pretty much all of us here in the North Island, here in Kamloops River, unless you're going to and from Nanaimo, but you can make it to Nanaimo and plug it in. So we've got one on order for Amanda, and over this weekend we probably put about 60 kilometers on it, going down to Starbucks, going to both our parents for Thanksgiving. And we never had to plug it in once. I got back to work this morning. It still had like 90K to empty after I had taken it. Just kind of walking around doing a little bit of the style points as well. But the thing that was really cool is just how comfortable it is and how fun to drive it is. So yeah, the range is a little bit lower. It is their first one. They do have a range extender version coming out eventually if you are that worried about your range. But if you really think about it, your commutes, your daily use is not going to be 200 kilometers, and you can just plug it in at home instead of having to go to the gas station or do whatever. You can get Steel Stapley at Peak Power, and I were chatting about it. He can install a charger for you based on the math of how much of a charge it needs. We were figuring it's about $5 to get the 200 kilometers out of it that you need, or that it gives. All the redesigned features on it. It's fully new body style, just a gorgeous vehicle. But I wanted to talk about a couple of things while you're driving it to make it more, to optimize the range you're getting out of it. And this was a couple things that the guys hadn't gone over yet because they didn't know. So, let's turn that off. There you go. So it does have the Mazda connected services. It's got your touch screen down here. It's not dual climate control, but it is all touch screen. You got heated seats, heated steering wheel. All the controls are nice and easy to get to. The one thing I did notice that's kind of funny is, so you got park, reverse, neutral, drive. There's no gears because there's no transmission. It's just one speed with the electric motor. But when you're in drive, and then for a million years, everyone's thought that this was park. It's not. It's reverse, so make sure you don't leave it that way. You got to push it over to the side. You got the HMI commander here. Makes it nice and easy to control all your stuff while you're there. It's got a great backup camera on it, like most of the vehicles we're used to nowadays. But up on the steering wheel, these paddle shifters here are actually ways that you can adjust the level of regenerative braking that it's using. So when you press you can see the little arrows right here beside the D. That's showing that it's in actually acceleration mode. So it's going to behave very similar to an automatic vehicle where I take my foot off the brake and it's going to start to want to move. And then if it's got the park brake on, that's why. So take that off and it's going to start wanting to move on its own. Now, if you push the down side of the paddle shifters, you can put it down. There's 5 settings totally. There's just the one in the middle at D, and then there's 2 back, which is giving you extra regeneration, where it doesn't really want to move, still the same. And until you're in it and driving it, you don't really know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you've driven any other EVs, Teslas, or any of the other vehicles, what you'll find is that when you touch the brakes, this gauge here is going to tell you that it's using that power to regenerate the battery and give you extra power back in there and extend your range. And so right now we're sitting at 73% at 124 kilometers till empty. I would be willing to suggest, because when I drove it home, I could keep it at that for probably the rest of the day, just based on driving, using that optimization bar and using the charging. You're going to be able to get a ton of range out of it. So if you're not needing to go out of town, if you have it for a second vehicle, or you just want to be environmentally conscious, you can get into something like this with phenomenal interest rates, great leasing, great financing. But the overall savings is going to be on the fact that it's very low cost in electricity. There's obviously no fuel. I believe the window sticker that Dana was reading the other day said about $685 was going to be the cost for a yearly electricity bill to keep this vehicle going. So if you do that, that's filling it up about, well, that seems even high, because $5 to fill it is at $685. That's going to be almost, I don't know, I'm not going to try to do that math, but that's a lot. So yeah, you can get a lot of fill ups into this thing. You have a lot of capability to cruise around, and it's fun to drive. Tons of space. When they designed the vehicle, they designed this back seat to almost be like a couch in the back. It kind of lifts up on the side and it's all one piece. Tons of room. The back seats fold down, giving you tons of space back there. It comes with the 110 volt charger from the factory. So you've got that if you don't want to install anything at your house. You don't have to. Or you can call Steel or any of the other great electricians in town here and get them to hook you up with a charger. You can see that this is running right now and it is almost completely silent. You can hear a little bit of noise going on because it's on. But that's the biggest thing you notice is when you fire it up, it's nice and quiet. There's no noise, and it is so responsive. Like I don't know the 0 to 60 or anything like that off of it, but took the family for a drive when we were doing the Thanksgiving dinner, and they were all shocked at how much power comes out of this little machine. A couple other things to touch on. There's a lot of cork accents in here. Mazda talks about being a 100-year-old company. When they started their company 100 years ago, they were making cork, so that's why they put that in here. Also because it's nice and environmentally friendly. The seats are made out of 100% recycled plastic bottles, so you have a ton of eco-friendliness there as well. LED lighting all throughout, and yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot else that I'm missing on, but really all I'm just saying is if you are a little bit skeptical, I don't know how I did that. If you're a little bit skeptical about EVs, especially about ones with not a huge charging capacity currently, know that they are going to work on that and get better as solid state batteries and range extenders start to come out. But really, just come down and drive this thing and be surprised with us with how awesome it is. We have free charging 24/7 here, so if you need a little top up and you work near us or you want to stop by, it's a stage 2 charger, so it's going to charge you up nice and quick. I think I had it on for an hour this morning and it added 30 kilometers. Krista's saying it hauls ass, which absolutely I agree with, and I'm really not sure what to point at right now, so I'm going to go back to myself. But yeah, if you had any interest in EVs, it's here. It's not sold yet, obviously. If it sells, then it'll be gone until the next one shows up. I think Amanda's is due to show up in November, December. And yeah, we would just love for you to come and check it out. Try it out, just because if you don't try it, you don't know. And yeah, 200 kilometers of range, not a big deal. But how many of you are driving around with your gas tank on pretty close to empty anyways? So don't be stressed about where your kilometers are. You can plug it in. You can plug it in here. You can get a charger installed, maybe $1,000 at home, and you can have that. And you think about how much fuel you're taking to get a tank of fuel is probably, I don't know, in most vehicles, getting up to 80, $100. That's 10 tanks of fuel, gets you a charger installed, then $5 to charge this thing. You plug it in overnight, you'd be at a full tank every time, so you wouldn't have any issue there. Anyways, that's just some real world experience. Very comfortable. We had 4 of us in it. We had did the driving around for the long weekend. We didn't go very far, but we were all around town, and no range anxiety whatsoever, because it really just didn't get down to a spot where it was concerned. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If you want to come check this thing out in person, I'd love to show it to you. Love to have the team take you for a drive, and we'd love to sell it to you, of course. But even if you just want to try it out so you can say that you've driven the new all-electric MX-30, you know what it's all about, you can feel that power that we're talking about, yeah, just come and give it a shot. Hope you had a fantastic long weekend, had some time with the family, and we look forward to seeing you. If you don't want an EV, that's fine too. We got all sorts of new Mazdas. We got tons of used vehicles. When Carl and I were in Ontario talking with some of the other dealerships that we're dealing with, it's actually crazy how few new vehicles there are at other places compared to like out east and everything. There's a couple really, really big places that have like 5 new Mazdas. We have like 30, and we have a bunch incoming. So know that we're planning ahead to make sure to keep vehicles in stock to be able to help you out. And used vehicles, we buy 1 or 2 a day, so we're gonna always have that stuff. And if we don't have it here, we're happy to find it for you. I can see why Dana's not always looking at the camera when you're facing it sideways like this, because I want to look at me, but I'm not making eye contact. But anyways, all right, guys, I'll stop rambling for today. Yeah, drop a comment if you have any questions. I see Steele's chiming in. What did he say? Looks awesome, Benjamin. Just thinking, fill a tank for under $5 in electricity. By the way, it's Steele with Peak Power Electric Ltd, and we are EV charging experts. Exactly. That's why he's our guy. All right. Well, like I said, no more rambling. Carl and I are probably going to be back doing a weekly sometime this week. We might get our good buddy James Crockett in there as well. And we will chat with you guys soon. Let me know if there's anything else you want to chat about, any vehicles that are here. I'd love to go over it with you. I'm going to try to get on a couple more videos here because I like doing them, and it kind of motivates the staff to do it if they see me doing it. So anyways, have a great day. Have awesome, it's Tuesday, short week, and we'll talk to you soon.